Howdy YouTubers. It is Wednesday, June 26th, 2019, and these are your morning announcements. I'm heading into work with Batman, my co-pilot. It's a beautiful day in Milwaukee. It is 73 degrees and sunny. It is gorgeous. So this morning, first thing, when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is I grab a cup of coffee, I smoke my vape, and I watch videos. Look to see what I missed overnight. And I saw that Good Job Buddy had done a interview with Cliff, Adobe's friend. And I remember, I was still talking to Adobe via the phone when Cliff visited, right after that chick almost died in the ocean that Adobe saved. And I remember him saying that a friend of his and his wife were coming down to visit him. So I'm quite sure that Cliff is legit. I know there were some people who were questioning it, but I do remember Adobe talking about him and his wife. So that part is true. And I have to say, I've been thinking about this. This isn't just something that the Good Job Buddy video brought out, although it solidified it for me. I've been thinking about Adobe, wondering if he was still alive, wondering if he's okay. I'm just going to speak for myself here. I'm not going to speak for the community. I'm going to just speak for myself here and come right out and say that I did Adobe wrong. I did. I totally did. I was so angry about the stuff that was going on with Mike. I felt so duped and betrayed that I started to believe that everybody that was a part of that camp or anywhere near that camp were not good people, that they weren't what they said they were, and that I had been bamboozled out of my time, bamboozled out of my money, and I just felt terrible. And when Adobe came clean about taking the motorcycle to Galveston and not the bus, I stopped trusting him. And I cut myself off from him. I just cut it off. I was so angry. And in my mind, I was connecting all these dots, like, Adobe left Camp Goonies because he knew something was going on with Mike, and he just wanted to get the hell out of there and not be anywhere near that when the shit hit the fan, and blah blah blah. But that's probably not the case, and I feel bad for even thinking that. I truly believe that Adobe just wanted to get the heck out of there. He had told me that he had a girlfriend, an ex-girlfriend in Texas, who was going through a rough time. She had a bunch of bills to pay, and she was telling Adobe how lonely she was, and basically giving him all the right words to get him to go back to Texas. And that's exactly what he did. He went back there, and he was ready, and I think he felt like she wanted to get back together with him. Like, she wasn't just saying, "Hey, I need your money. I need you here to help me." I think that she was leading him on that. At least that's the impression that Adobe got, that she wanted to reconnect with him on a boyfriend-girlfriend level, not just for the money. But when he got there, it became clear to him that it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about love. It was just about the money. And I think that broke his heart. And then all the crap went down with Mike. And I think he felt pretty lost, because I think that it was truly his intention to go back, because Mike had the title for his motorcycle. And in what Adobe told me was that he and Mike had a conversation, and Adobe had asked Mike to send him the title, and Mike's like, no, I'm not going to send you the title. You need to come back here. And if you don't come back here, I'm going to report the bike is stolen. So Adobe felt like he was being held hostage by Mike, in a sense, you know. But he had this piece of paper. It was a bill of sale, a handwritten bill of sale, receipt, if you will. And Adobe had found out that if he went to the Department of Transportation there in Texas, he would have been able to put the vehicle in his name, because he had the bill of sale, and he'd be able to get a duplicate title for it. So I think that was something that he was in the process of doing. And then he put the bike up on Craigslist. He did do that. I mean, many of us saw that. We saw it with our own eyes, that he had put the bike up for sale. But I think once he determined that he would be able to get the title, he pulled it down. That's what I think happened. If I am remembering the order of things correctly. So then his intention was to just fix up the bike and get it titled properly and use it for his transportation. And he was already starting to talk to me about rebuilding the bike. He told me that Cliff had offered him Cliff had offered his services to help him rebuild the bike. So all that's legit. All that's true, you know. And that's all I can say about that. I feel bad. I feel bad that I kind of just disconnected myself from Adobe and walked away. I pretty much disconnected and walked away from everybody and everything for a while, because I couldn't like draw out what was true and what wasn't true. You know, I was listening to all the information coming in, and there were so many conflicting things that I just like washed my hands of it and walked away. And I feel bad that I did that. I mean, I don't know if Adobe has cancer or not. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to judge whether he has it or not. All I'm going to say is the one thing that bothered me about the whole thing was that on several occasions I tried to get him to talk about the cancer and what he had. And every time we talked about it, the story changed a little bit. And so that made me feel a little bit weirded out, like maybe he wasn't telling the truth. But just because he's alive doesn't mean that he doesn't have cancer. Chrissy, my roommate, her stepmom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and told that she only had 6 months to live, and 2 years later she's still going strong. Okay, so people can outlive a diagnosis like that. It's just that they give you the worst case scenario right off the bat, because they want you to prepare for your death. They want you to do all the paperwork necessary. They want you to do all the planning. They want to make sure that you know that you're going to die, so you have time to like make amends with loved ones and all that other stuff that happens that you want to be able to do before you die. Okay, so they don't sugarcoat it. They give you worst case scenario, and there you go. But I've also known people who were given 6 months to live and who have died in like days later. You know, so I think it's different from person to person. But the fact that he's alive doesn't mean that Adobe doesn't have cancer. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. And I believe one of his parents died from cancer, so, you know, cancer runs in the family. Got to be careful. But anyways, I wish Adobe well. I don't wish any harm on him. I hope he's successful and is having fun there in Texas. Part of me wishes that he would do an interview with Good Job Buddy, but part of me just wishes that, you know what, if you're happy, don't even step back into that. Don't even go there. Don't jump back into this mess. But I would like to talk to him again. I have his old phone number, so I texted him this morning and I said, listen, guy, I am really sorry about the way that I just sort of dropped off and got so angry at you. I'm like, that, I shouldn't have done that. And I hope you understand that I was emotionally stirred up because of all the stuff that was going on with Mike. It really messed with my head. Messed with all of our heads, didn't it? So, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. And I got a troll. I don't know who this troll is. I kind of suspect I know who this troll is, but I have a troll who's been like, oh, look at how many times you've said something on one of your videos or commented and you had to back off because you didn't have all the information. And you know what? That person is absolutely right. I have done that. I get some information and I react, and I'm going to stop doing that because it's just getting me into trouble. And as much as I don't like being trolled, I appreciate that this person helped me see my own mind and helped me realize that I need to be a lot less reactionary, because the drama isn't helping anybody. It's not. And I am a positive person, and I'm a good person. I was accused of loving people from Slab City. I do love them. I do. I have a strong, strong love for people who are in situations that are maybe beyond their control. You know, I grew up, I've told you guys this before, my grandfather was a pastor, and he preached at the Milwaukee Rescue Mission for 40 years. I've been around homeless people my entire life. I've known homeless people who were addicts, who were alcoholics, and I've known homeless people who just dropped out of society because they felt like they were a square peg trying to be smushed into a round hole, and they just wanted to go out into the world and make their own hole. You know, and just wanted to drop out. But in every instance, no matter who that person was, they were a human being. And whether they were addicts or not didn't make a difference to my grandpa. He saw them, each and every one of them, regardless of what they were doing or what happened to them, he saw them all as children of God. And he made it his life's mission to do whatever he could to help that person in whatever way they needed. Not whatever way he thought was best for them, but what they actually truly needed. Sometimes it was just a bed to sleep in for the night because it was too cold outside to sleep on the ground. Sometimes it was a whole big life-changing thing where he worked with the person to get them through treatment, to help them find a job and a place to live, and then follow up with them constantly every week until the day he died. There were men out there that he had been talking to for 40 years. When my grandpa died, the line at the funeral home went out the door and down the block and around the corner. And a good chunk of those people were people that my grandfather helped. So yeah, I have a soft spot for the people in Slab City. I don't care. You know, somebody called me a cash cow. I'm not a cash cow. I am not a rich person, I can assure you of that. But you're damn right I'm going to help those people. They're human beings. Maybe you think that you're above that because you live in a fancy house and drive a fancy car. But you're not. You're gonna die. Just like everybody else. So, stop judging them. The only thing that our whole country right now needs to be a hell of a lot more compassionate, you know? A lot less angry. So that's my mission in life. When I do wrong, I'm going to come right out and tell you. I'm not going to blame everybody else or try to go around the whole situation. If I do wrong and I know I done wrong, I'm gonna come out and tell you, because I believe that the most powerful thing in this universe is forgiveness. I think that when you are able to admit that you've done something wrong and ask for forgiveness and then get that forgiveness, that is a life-changing event. It might just be a small-scale life-changing event, but it's a life-changing event, you know? And we missed our mark as a community when Adobe went ahead and came out and came clean and asked for forgiveness. I was so mad at everything that was going on at Camp Goonies that I could not forgive him in that moment. And I sat with that bitterness inside of me for 10 months. And what did it do? What did all that anger and bitterness do? It did nothing. So I forgive Adobe for lying. I think that, I mean, now in hindsight, now that I'm looking at this with a calmer mind and a clearer mind, I think that Adobe did what he did just to get the hell out of there. And sometimes you gotta lie, cheat, rob, and steal to survive in this messed up world that we live in. Ooh, I don't want to run over this man. He will leave a dent. So anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about today, guys. I hope you don't think less of me. But I had to do what I had to do. And I love you guys, and I care about you, and I hope that you're all doing well, and I hope to see some of you guys in some live streams later today. Your happy, smiley faces. Let's all stay positive. Let's all work on making forgiveness a thing in our lives. Let's all work on admitting our mistakes and getting past it so that we don't have to be bitter and angry people. And thank you to the troll who helped me see my mind. because you've lifted a tremendous burden off of me by helping me realize what I needed to do. So thank you. I'm pulling into my spot here. Didn't want to hit anybody. There's a lot of people walking around today downtown. Summerfest starts this week, you guys. The largest music festival in the world. And it's right here in Milwaukee. So I might go. We'll see. If I do, I'll make a video. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I love you guys. Mwah. Take care. Bye-bye.